concurs with the Scriptures. Then in chapter 51, verse 1, he says, "In those days the earth will return that entrusted to it." This is resurrection he's talking about. "Sheol will return that entrusted to it, which it's received, and hell will return what it owes." So in other words, people will be resurrected and around this time of the end time called the day of trouble. And then he says, concerning the saints, "Their faces will shine in gladness, because the chosen one has arisen in those days, and the earth will rejoice, and the just will live thereon, and the chosen will walk and move thereon." So, the earth will be prepared for a kingdom age, and Jesus will reign over the earth, and we shall reign with him and live on this earth for 1,000 wonderful years. Then in chapter 56, he says, "I saw there the hosts of angels of punishment, walking and holding chains of iron and of metal. I asked one of the angel of peace who went with me, saying, 'To whom are these going, holding them,' that is the chains?" He said to me, "Each one to his chosen and his beloved, that they may be thrown into the deep abyss of the valley." In other words, these chains are prepared for the fallen angels, for Azazel, who taught men how to make war, and the others who followed him. Now, we're talking about the fallen angels of Genesis chapter 6. "In those days the angels will assemble and turn their head toward the east and toward the people of Parthia and Media, in order to excite the kings, that a spirit of disturbance come over them, and disturb them from off their thrones, and they will come forth from their resting places like lions and like hungry wolves amid the flocks. And they will ascend and step on the land of their chosen. On the land of his chosen will be before them a threshing floor and a path. But the city of my just will be a hindrance to their horses, and they will take up a battle amongst themselves." And understand what he's talking about here. He's talking about these fallen angels stirring up Iran. Yeah. Called here Parthia and Media. That's the Medo-Persian Empire. The Persians, today called Iran. And it says that they will stir up Iran to make war against Jerusalem, that's the city of my just, and against the Holy Land, the land of his chosen, and against the threshing floor. Well, you know where that threshing floor is? It's the Temple Mount. David bought the threshing floor of Arnon, the Jebusite, his son Solomon built a temple there. That threshing floor today is still under the Dome of the Rock, the Muslim Mosque of Omar. But it is designated here as a threshing floor. Nobody lived there when Enoch wrote this. And yet he has said that he is told that in the end time, these fallen angels will stir up Iran. Do you remember in the book of Daniel, Daniel talks about the prince of Persia as if he were some kind of angel or a fallen angel that withstood Michael, the archangel. You remember, Michael had to fight against him before he could get to Daniel. It took him 21 days to get to Daniel because this prince of Persia, this fallen angel over Persia, had withstood him. And so in the end time, who's going to create the battle of Gog and Magog or the battle of Armageddon? I can tell you. It's going to be Iran. Isn't it remarkable that Iran today is preparing for that war? And then in chapter 57, he describes the battle of Armageddon. He says, "I saw again a host of wagons upon which men were riding." Now, I couldn't tell you what these wagons look like. I think there are several different kinds of vehicles here. He calls them wagons because of the ancient language that was translated in the book of Enoch. He didn't have the variety of the vocabulary that we have today. I can imagine they were tanks and trucks and vehicles of various kinds, even airplanes, even jet airplanes. For he says here, they came upon the wind from the east and from the west to the south. And the noise of their wagons was heard. And as this commotion took place, the holy ones from heaven noticed it. So I imagine they had noisy wagons. I can imagine, the jet engines of these fighter jets. And the pillars of the earth were moved from their place, and it was heard from the ends of the earth to the ends of the heavens in one day. So I can imagine this as a nuclear war. Something that would shake the earth, the pillars of the earth, and the noise of it would be heard from one end of the earth to the other end of heaven. And this would happen in one day. And they will all fall down and bend the knee before the Lord of the spirits. And this is the end of the second parable. In other words, when Jesus appears in the sky above the battle of Armageddon, the whole world will realize the jig is up. That all of their designs to replace the Lord with the Antichrist and all of their plans to destroy the Jews are for naught. For Jesus will come and rescue the Jewish nation, will set up his throne in Jerusalem and rule over the earth as King of Kings and Lord of Lords for 1,000 years. And Enoch wrote about all of this. I don't know about you, but this is remarkable stuff. But remember now, we are not saying that Enoch is inspired scriptures. What we are saying is, it seems that Enoch himself wrote about it and that he really did walk with God, just as the Bible says. He walked among angels. He rode in celestial vehicles. He went into the future and saw the battle of Armageddon, the tribulation period, the judgment of the kings of the earth and their economic masters, those who possess the earth. That's the international banking cartel. It's all in the book of Enoch. Well, it's a fascinating study. I'd like to encourage you to get this June 2009 edition of Prophecy in the News magazine and read about this for yourself. Now remember, we started our study in the book of Enoch last February's magazine. February, March, April, May, and June. And soon we'll have July's out. In fact, I just finished it today, and it'll be going to the printers in a few days. And a week or so, we'll have our copy of the July issue out and the new study on the book of Enoch. This is part 5 here. I've already written part 6, and I'm anxious to share it with you in time to come. So, if you'd like, you can get these magazines. You can order February, March, April, May, June. If you'd like, you could subscribe for a year. You could start with February if you want to get all of these writings on the book of Enoch. Read it for yourself. It's a fascinating read. I'm J.R. Church. We'll see you again tomorrow with our analysis of the news.